It is the 8th of the 10th, 2024. The time is 10:05. Of course, we've got to talk about Checo Perez. And this, because there are very many threads at which we need to pull. This story is developing. Checo Perez's story arc needs to be extrapolated for in real time. Why? Because there are circumstances, context. For context, therefore, let me outline this story this way. You know all about Christian Horner allegation gate, the PA settings. You know about this already. And this will drive, of course, the shift in power dynamics between one Dr. Helmut Marko and one Christian Horner. There is on one side of the fence Christian Horner and the Vidra family, who own 51% of Red Bull GmbH, the company so known all around the world for selling energy drinks. On the other side of the fence, you have Dietrich Mateschitz's guys, RIP Dietrich, his son Mark, Oliver Mintzlaff, the guys and girls at Austria headquarters in Salzburg of the Red Bull Energy Drinks Company. This is getting techie though, ladies and gents, because it's developing in real time. Who knew that Checo Perez, because of his $30 million a year that he brings in, because of his Noterindas Cabrón documentary dropping, because of his connections, because of his ability to market and sell for energy drinks companies in growth markets such as North America and Latin America, because of all of the aforementioned, who knew that Checo Perez would be able to hold on to his drive, notwithstanding his material underperformance season to date? How material, Cameron? It feels like you got a chip on your shoulder, Cameron, that you just don't like Checo Perez. Say it as it is. Well, let's talk to some facts and figures, because men lie, women lie, numbers very rarely do. Let's check this out. Max Verstappen currently leading the championship on 331 points. Checo Perez has how many? Have a guess. 144 points. He sits in 8th at the moment, behind King George Russell of Kingsley and Norfolk, behind Sir Lewis, behind Carlos Sainz, behind Oscar Piastri, behind Charles Leclerc, behind Lando Norris, and of course behind Maximilian Verstappen. There have been 18 races thus far this season. 6 remain. The gap between the Red Bull driver pairing, 187 points over the course of 18 races then. Maximilian Verstappen has been gapping Checo Perez on average 10 points a race. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not good enough by any account, especially if you're Red Bull Racing and you invested in sporting excellence and indeed want to win yourself a Constructors' Championship. That's gonzo now. S'acabó, done, kaput. There is no way that you can argue that Red Bull have a chance in hell of beating McLaren as far as the Constructors' Championship is concerned. That's gone. And then if you want further evidence as far as Checo Perez's material underperformance, let me present Exhibit A, Constructors' Championship, courtesy of our mates over at F1 Reddit. Who do you think has cost their team the most money as far as crashes this season? Logan Sargent, maybe? 3 million. Hefty fee, eh? And that's in no small part due to the reason why he's gone. Alex Albon, maybe 2.4 million is how much his crashes have cost Williams. Hefty fee. Carlos Sainz, maybe 1.75 million. Guess where Checo Perez is? 4.5 million. He sits top of the charts as far as the amount of money that he's cost his team, as far as his crashes and errors of the unforced variety. What are we doing here? It's time for him to go. And if you needed further evidence of this, look no further than Helmut Marko and his tone and intonation now over the summer break. This is the second time when he's talked about this. The first time with the legends that are Speed Week. He said of Checo Perez's chances of remaining in Red Bull Racing through to 2025 that Red Bull have always been a junior team, and they need to consider their options, diversify as far as their drivers' portfolio is concerned, invest therefore in young talent in the youth. Colapinto and his exploits, Ollie Behrman and his exploits at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and Baku indeed has proven this to be true. No longer can Red Bull afford to dilly-dally and continue investing in Checo Perez. I've said on a gazillion occasions, and I will reiterate for the avoidance of doubt, that there is more risk to be kept. There is more risk in keeping Checo Perez than there is in jettisoning him off. Why? Because he's proven beyond reasonable doubt that Checo Perez is flotsam jetsam F1, and Helmut Marko is talking to this. He's seen the light as far as the youth in Colapinto and what he's been able to do. Ollie Behrman, what he's been able to do. The very brief stint in FP1 that we saw from Kimi Antonelli, him going quickest through Parabolica more than any one of the F1 vets. What they can't afford to do, therefore, here on in, as far as Red Bull Racing are concerned, is miss out on the next Maximilian Verstappen. There is more risk to be had from not investing in Rookie PLC. Racing News 365 talks about Helmut Marko's latest outburst fuss, that Red Bull drop a major Verstappen teammate hint for 2025, writes Ian Parks. If this is to be believed, then Checo Perez's days at Red Bull are numbered. And again, this is no longer talking about retirement gate. This isn't talking about his performances or lack thereof. This is now focusing on the next generations, the options. This is the opportunity cost of not investing in youth. Helmut Marko has outlined his vision for Red Bull in 2025, which sees Max Verstappen again crowned as the F1 champion, of course, but not with Checo Perez as his teammate. Oh, the humanity. He's telling you. You know what I mean? He's telling you. And again, if we're talking about outcomes and eventualities, of course, you've got to talk about the power dynamic between Helmut Marko and Christian Horner. Lest we forget, however, that Christian Horner, he was the one who backed Nick de Vries. No, indeed, I always get it the way around. Horner doubted Nick de Vries, Helmut Marko. Nick de Vries was his guy. And again, that's one zip for Christian Horner now. Can you imagine if it was the other way around? Had it been the other way around, I speculate and conjecture that Checo Perez would have been gonzo already as at the 8th of the 10th, 2024. Helmut Marko continues. He's made it crystal clear that in an ideal world, one of Red Bull's juniors, because Red Bull Racing is of course a team that invests in junior talent, hot prospects, that one of those will be partnering Max Verstappen in the RB21 next year. This is Helmut Marko's dream. Dr. Helmut Marko, put some respect on his name. Liam Lawson, writes Racing News 365, who stepped into the sister RB team for the final 6 Grand Prix of the campaign, replacing Danny Rick, has the opportunity to prove himself worthy of replacing Checo Perez. Let me say this for the avoidance of doubt. For Liam Lawson, this is not a drive. This is an audition. Again, the strategic objective is no different from what was Danny Rick's earlier on this year. Put forth a case, roundly beat one Yuki Tsunoda and find yourself in the parent member team as at 2025. That is your mission, Liam Lawson, should you choose to accept it. Racing News 365 continues. It's the second time over the autumn break that Helmut Marko has indicated that Perez's days might be numbered, particularly as he's languishing in a miserable 8th in the Drivers' Championship, and indeed is undermining Red Bull's challenge for the constructors. Absolutely abhorrent. 187 points is the delta between Maximilian Verstappen and Checo Perez, and we are 18 races in, an average lick between the two of 10 points a race. Unacceptable. Referring to Lawson's 5-race cameo last season, he says that he did well. He beat Yuki Tsunoda at Suzuka as an example, and Singapore. I want to say there is potential there. Additionally, referencing Kajar, who is vying for the F2 title, Marko said that his feeling is that he knows the lineup of the team for 2025 before adding, let's wait and see. He wants youth. He's tired, sick and tired of Checo Perez, and he's not insubstantial underperformance season today. Admittedly, Dr. Helmut Marko says Yuki's improved a lot. He has his emotions under control better. He was sometimes very bad on the radio. Those tirades also slowed him down. In other words, he lost his speed. That bothered me most, but that's gone now. He's fast and consistent on all circuits. When Dr. Helmut Marko is now talking positively about one Yuki Tsunoda, that tells you all you need to know, because it was not always that way. He concludes, Dr. Helmut Marko of Red Bull GmbH, that youth is the trend. What we're used to now is what we used to do as Red Bull Racing Team is now being done by Mercedes with Antonelli, Haas with Berman, Colapinto potentially with Williams, depending on where he ends up for 2025. He was thrown in the deep end by Williams and he's delivered with 3 great races, pushing one Alex Albon, who of course they rate highly. Forecasting for next season with Verstappen again as champion, Marko concluded, ideally our lineup will have a junior in it as Max Verstappen's teammate from our junior program. I say all that to say this, guys and girls, Kayla, Debbie, Eddie. It's techie as far as Red Bull going forward. Opportunity cost as far as rookies is absolutely mission critical. They can't afford to do what Toto the boy who cried wolf did in 2015-16 and let go the next Maximilian Verstappen for want of adversity as far as investing in new young talent. Roll the dice, take the risk. Why and how do you know that it's worthwhile? Well, Franco Colapinto has shown you that you need to be invested in youth PLC, rookie PLC, as far as F1 talent going forward, particularly if you have in the other seat one Checo Perez, who's been underperforming, doing nothing but all bloody season. The only championship that the Mexican Minister of Defense is leading as we go into the latter stages of the F1 2024 season is the Destructors Championship. $4.5 million is how much he's cost Red Bull Racing season to date. That, ladies and gents, isn't acceptable by any stretch of the imagination. This is a stay of execution now for Checo Perez over the next 6 races. Some say that he will retire on October the 27th at the Mexican Grand Prix. For the optics will be at their best then. Techie, Techie ever so slightly. How, ladies and gents, do you like your Formula One?